There is nothing, there is no rational behind wanting a regional government in this country. We have already half of a representation. We are saying let the constitution remain the way it is in terms of representation.
Youth for BBI also propose corruption cases must be expedited and dispensed within 28 days. Appeals arise from this should be heard within 14 days. Once charged guilty, an individual must be barred from holding public office for life.
PPLC notes with great concern that Section 25 of the Political Parties Act, which creates and operationalizes the Political Parties Fund, promotes discrimination, unfair political competition, divisive general and by-elections. It does not provide level playing field for all duly registered political parties in the electoral process.
All right, these are just some of the leaders that addressed the BBI validation hearings being held here in Nairobi. And what comes out clearly there's an opposition to the regional governments that are being proposed by the Coast region. But also, when you look at the validation hearings that are supposed to be concluded, I believe, by June of this year, are we going to get value? And with these new proposals coming in, that the position of a prime minister should be more powerful, is that in the interest of the country and where we need to go politically in resolving the 9-point agenda?
I think I would say no, because we are adding things on top of the other things, because we have the constitution, we have the law, we have all these kind of things. If you see in the BBI, they are putting, I don't know, agriculture, they are putting all those things, they are there. In the constitution we have, in the ministry we have, in the policy of the government, all these things are there. Let me give an example that we used before having only CID. But without CID, instead of maybe changing or making it better, we changed it, we brought anti-corruption. From anti-corruption, we are building something else again in top of that. Instead of cleaning the institution, which is supposed to do that, now we are creating on top of the other one some things, thinking that we are doing better. Let me say this. When we are adding all these people, all these seats, I think it will not help Wanjiku, because we are going to get in more expenses on those people. Because if you can say that now maintaining one minister or region government, it is going to be so expensive, and we are going to tear this country in pieces, putting each other on different lines. But if we can do it and listen to Wanjiku when we say about BBI, we agree. Does Hoka, is he comfortable with the way he's been harassed? We want him to be put in the constitution what he needs. We need to see the people, if there's a problem, the IDPs, what do we do? They need to be put in the constitution to say in this BBI, if anything happens, they should be compensated without beveling. There are many things need to come for Wanjiku, but not now. For now, what we are seeing is just from top. Because we launched the BBI, the president, the Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, in the bombers. We trust him. He is the president. He launched, and we said, yes, we have agreed. They did not give copies. They are saying, read from where? Where does Wanjiku have that thing to read?
But the document is available on the website. Does
your mother go in website? or your father? No, let me ask you. And those are the Wanjiku. They don't have those documents. What they could have done, and they have taken 10 billion. We passed 10 billion in the parliament. You see, the time of Kibaki, I was there. When we are proposing the constitution,
the figure of 10 billion is actually contested.
No, we are the members of parliament. We passed that. It is there. We passed. Let's not argue on that, because we are members of parliament.
Under what vote was it passed?
Yeah?
Under what vote was it passed?
That one I'll tell you another day, because it is a long story. Because there are some things which were not straight on it. Let me leave that one for today.
No, you can just give us a hint.
No.
You can give us the summary.
Let me come on.
No, wait. For the benefit of the Kenyan who is at home watching you, how was 10 billion shillings passed to be the budget for BBI hearings that we see?
TRG. TGRC. That's the compensation. And it was told that it's going to carry the BBI inside. But we have not seen people being compensated.
Compensation and hearings are two different things.
But they carry, the vote is one. They put it together. But you see, we have not seen anybody being compensated. Up to now, we are just seeing being used in BBI. That's what I'll tell you. Then, the other thing I would like to remind you, this whole politics is not going to favor Wanjiku as you have asked. Because we are engaged more in politics of BBI. But to me, short and clear, it is not about the BBI. It's about 2022. Because people want to position themselves in the position they want. Let me tell you from the history. If you see 1963, Kenyatta and Odinga, why did they differ? They did not differ because of politics. No, because of the policy. Because the group of Odinga wanted, and some of Kikuyus who fought for independence and the other people, they wanted Wazungu to leave these chambers to be taken because they did not buy. That's where the contentious issue was. That's what Odinga wanted.
Okay.
And the other side of Kenyatta, they never wanted that. Because also they had negotiated in Wazungu, Nakuru, and they had agreed in the different, and that's why they differed. And that's why you can see even in many countries, South Africa and many areas, is Zimbabwe. That's why there's a problem. Because how do you compensate somebody who did not buy what you had? They took our land, but you want them to be compensated. They differed because of that. It's not because of politics. And now, what Kenyatta did, and I want to give you that history you follow. He brought all the parties like we did in Jubilee. He brought Kadu in the government because his own people, they were not agreeing with him. So he got the opposition, brought in the government, they benefited more than the people he was working with. That went like that. If you come now and see the time of Moi worked with a group which were within the Kanu. But reaching somewhere, the own people he was working with the Kanu, he kicked them out, he got the people on the opposition for him to survive. That's how it went. Now, where we are today, Kibaki did the same. He came with Raila Odinga and the other people, and they went. But reaching somewhere, he got the people who are outside and brought them, and he kicked the people who are inside. The same thing we have done.
Who's being kicked out?
We got all the parties, 13 parties in the party, in Jubilee. We brought them together, to work together. Then after that, we forgot that there were some parties which came inside. We need to respect them and agree with them. Now, it's still repeating itself. The people who have worked with the Jubilee, they have been now kicked out, bringing Kamket and his friends and Odinga to come and enjoy there. That is the history. That's how it goes.
Who is being
and that's
kicked
how
out?
it's politics.
Who is being kicked out now?
Many people now, they are fighting. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is not working with the Jubilee. He's working with in fact, I would say that maybe we need to respect the president of the people. Because today, the president of the people, if you have any problem, you go to him, your things will be sorted out.
Okay.
So you can say that the power now it is with the president of the people.
All right. So, Honorable Kamket, you are one believer in the BBI, that it is going to resolve not just the problems that the Kenyans face, but also certain politicians in as far as the numbers are concerned. But at the end of the day, Kenyans will ask you, how does that impact on their lives, their daily lives? And what do you think would be that answer that would really be convincing when you face them in 2022?
President of the people, the people's president. When you hear such talk, somebody being referred to as the people's president is somebody who is headed to opposition. Anyway, let me...
What do you mean?
Let him talk the language we can understand.
So, I'm speaking plain English. You know, there is BBI and there is the handshake. There are two issues here. There was, before the BBI, there was the handshake. The handshake gave birth to the BBI. And what did the principals say? That they want to stop the cycle of violence that comes every 5 years. They want to minimize the cutthroat political competition that is so fierce that we, every 5 years, we are on the brink as a nation. So, I was among the first people to bring a bill to amend the constitution.
Right.
And my views were the same as the views that are being expressed now by everybody, to begin with the principles. That we have some small issues in our constitution that needs to be tweaked, some bit of tweaking a little bit. There are the social issues, and then there are the political issues. And you see, Kwame Nkrumah told us, he paraphrased the Bible, that seek ye the political kingdom first, and the rest shall be handed unto you. You know, it is important to stabilize the nation first, and you must stabilize the nation first through politics.
What gives you the notion that the country is not stable now, politically?
Well, after the handshake is when the country, when the tensions went down. That's why I talked about the handshake at the beginning. Before the handshake, people were talking about secession. Do you remember? The Kenyans are too quick to forget. Before the handshake, this country was increasingly becoming ungovernable. But after the handshake and the closing of ranks between the two opposed sides, then things cooled down. And it's unfortunate that my colleague here, Kimani Ngujiri and perhaps Caleb, and the others felt a bit uncomfortable with the handshake. But as time moved on, they have come to appreciate. They are still fighting it, but they have come to appreciate.
And so what is that requires BBI and constitutional review to fix permanently?
You remember what you know, you cut me short, and with your questions,
yes,
what I'm saying is
running
this.
Out of time.
Yes, what I'm saying is we have to correct the political situation. And for instance, what has been commonly referred to as Ferrari presidency, okay, vis-a-vis Probox presidency. Leadership at the apex. You have to expand the base a bit. And to have communities, you know, we have communities, small as mine, to feel represented. You know, if we have something there, here, some bit of tokenism is what Kenyans yearn for. And then now you come to the social aspect, social aspect.
Do you think it's Kenyans who yearn for tokenism or it is
socioeconomic aspect? There are two issues here: the tokenism and the socioeconomic aspect. Okay, you must marry the two together. That way, now we will have a more stable politics moving forward. And then the issue of corruption. You have BBI talks about fighting corruption.
No, allow me to cut you short because we are running out of time.
Why are you running out of time when I talk about corruption? Corruption is a big problem in this country.
It's not because of what you're talking about. It's because of how we need to conclude this conversation. And nobody disagrees that there's a question about corruption. But when you listen to leaders, when they speak during rallies, they are talking about regional government, strengthening the executive, having an executive prime minister. Yes. Nothing about corruption.
Well, you know, people, you know, we are engaged in a national conversation, and people talk about their issues. For instance, me as Kamket, I would like to have a county called Tiaty. Yes.
A county called Tiaty?
Yes, Tiaty County.
Okay.
That is so, and since it is a national debate, Kenyans are free to say what they want to say. If the issue of regional governments, like the coast people are talking about, let them talk about it. Because we are at the constitutional amendment moment. And when we are at such a moment, people are free to come up with what they think. And how they feel and how they feel the country should be governed. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But yes.
Sorry to cut you short, but the last word from you, Honorable Kositani. So all that has been spoken about, several issues, the 9-point agenda, but we don't have so much time because according to the Gazette notice by the President, this team that is going around the country getting validation hearings is supposed to finish its work by mid-year. So what is that burning issue that you think should be fixed in these hearings without repeating what has been done by BBI 1?
Well, I think what needs BBI cannot fix the problems that we have as Kenyans, because the problem is in the leadership. We're listening to Kamket here. He's just being very choosy with his words. But in short, he's saying we are discussing BBI to create positions at the top to satisfy tribal kings. And that is not where we want to take this country. I personally will support a BBI that is not creating positions, but is enhancing on how we behave as Kenyans. And the biggest thing here, Sam, is we need, and BBI, we were told by none other than by the President himself, is about curing the divisive politics. The divisive politics is for us as political competitors to agree that in any political competition there will be a winner and there will be a loser. And for me, if I lose, I will accept, and the way President Uhuru accepted in 2002, we went to Serena, even though, as was said by the Deputy President, we were about 40 at State House. By the time we got to Serena, there were only 3 members of Parliament, and us, a few of us, Wananchi. And we released a statement, President Uhuru read a statement to concede defeat. And Kenya was peaceful. Okay. So we need to cure ourselves, those of us who are in the political competition, that there's always going to be a winner, there's always going to be a loser. And then there will be no need for BBI. Okay. All these other things of communities bringing in their share and all that is covered in the current constitution. So it's about those who are competing politically to accept that there will be one winner and there will be a loser.
Wow, you're talking about the same thing, but obviously people are seeing it, looking at it differently. So that has been Honorable Caleb Kositanyi, Member of Parliament for Soi constituency, Honorable William Kamket, Member of Parliament for Tiaty, and Kimani Ngunjiri, Member of Parliament for Bahati. I want us to take a look at some of the feedback that you've been sharing with us via Twitter at Citizen TV. We have for Kango. Kenyans will indulge BBI in pursuit of a Kenya free from socio-economic mizigo to that bound by shared ideals and aspirations. A national conversation that will lead to a consensus on the type of Kenya we all want today and in the future. That is the Secretary General of the Third Way Alliance, Gerald Shege. Honorable Kamket is being economical with the truth and also contradicting himself. He says that politics is a game of numbers. Then you wonder who between Gideon Moi and Honorable William Ruto commands a large following. Shonko Andrew, it has been evident that for you to become the president of this country, you have to have more than just votes. You can have the votes, but will they count? It is not going to be easy for WSR, that is William Samoei Ruto, during the succession politics versus the dynasties. Oh, okay, that's Shonko Andrew. Omando Vikri, you say, this debate about dynasties is neither here nor there. Of essence is having a man or woman with the interest of Kenyans at heart. Dynasties aren't entirely the problem in this country. Self-seeking dealers masquerading as leaders are the problem. Self-seeking dealers. Governor 254, President Kenyatta will support his deputy in the latter's 2022 presidential bid. Remains unclear and unknown. In politics, one can never be too sure. Nothing is automatic and nothing is given on a silver platter. That is Governor 254. You've been writing to us via Twitter.